Hi, welcome to John Ross Therapeutic Yoga Movement Moment for January 2014. So this month in my article I talked about moving with the spine and mind, and as our function in the hips and our shoulders improve, so does the function of our spine. So we're going to look at the shoulders today because the majority of us are limited in the area of our thoracic spine. So that area of the spine from the bottom of the breastbone up until the bottom of the neck. And some people may even notice with all of the activity we do in the front of the body with devices, driving, sitting, that they are actually starting to come into more of a kyphosis or become more humped through the thoracic spine, and also that there isn't much movement there. So we're going to play with how our blades move in relation to the spine as well as on our rib cage today, and see if we can bring a little bit more ease to that area of the body. So what you're going to need for today's exploration is a tennis ball, or a racquetball ball, or if you have a massage ball, just making sure that it's not too hard. So you want something that's got a little bit of give to it. Okay, and then what you're going to do is just come to standing and notice how you feel in standing here, and become aware of your shoulder blades, your scapula on your rib cage. And I want you to imagine that they're just bars of soap, and you're just going to start to move those shoulder blades up, together, and down. Up, together, and down. Okay, so as you're doing that movement of bringing the scapula and elevating them up, bringing the inside medial edges of them together, and then bringing them down, I want you to notice how that feels. I want you to notice if, when you come up, if there's a point where the head comes forward, okay? I want you to notice if there's a point when you squeeze the shoulder blades together that the arms are doing a lot of movement in order to get the shoulder blades to move, or again, that point when the blades come together that the head may or may not come forward, or you feel any tension into the neck. And just play with making the movement smaller, so it's just about moving the blades. The other thing is, when you bring the shoulder blades back together, notice what happens with your lower ribs, okay? And with your breath. So after you've had a chance to explore that movement and really get a sense of how it is feeling in your body today, you're going to take your tennis ball, and we're actually going to roll out around each of the shoulder blades. So along the bottom edge, on the inside edge, up between the blade and the spine. So we're not actually rolling on the bone at all. We're rolling on the soft tissue. We're also even going to get in and around to the side ribs. So we'll start on one side, place that tennis ball, and then you're just going to make slow movements up and down, little circles, okay? And it's not about really digging and getting in there. Just be really gentle with it. Notice where there is maybe more tension in the tissue around the blade and it's more sensitive, and where it's less, show you around that bottom edge. Okay, so you're just going to spend a minute or two rolling out each side. So just stay on this first side for a second here. Getting around onto the tissue on the side of the rib cage, and then making sure you come around and between the blade and the spine, get that ball all the way up near the cervical spine. Okay, so you're just going to spend a few more moments rolling out this side. And then before you do the other side, come back to standing. And if you're in front of a mirror, you may notice that one arm is longer than the other, or that the shoulders have changed position. You might also feel differently in how you're standing or weighted or connected through the left and the right sides. And then we want to make sure to do the same thing on that other side. So again, you'll place the ball and then just start to roll out. And just notice here if one side is a lot more tender than the other. And then just give some consideration to how and what you do in a day. So I still have little people at home, so quite often I'm still carrying somebody and they'll be on my right hip and I'll be holding them with my right arm. Ladies or gentlemen, if you carry a laptop bag or a bigger purse, which shoulder that resides on, or if it's from one shoulder and strapped over the other hip. So just noticing how what we're doing through the day, how it's impacting our body and our structure. And you might even be surprised to notice that maybe it's more tender on the side that you actually use less, which is always interesting. And so again, make sure you get around into that channel. So always after we use the tennis ball and do any sort of rolling of the soft tissue in the fascia, we want to make sure we then fluff that tissue back up with some functional movement. So final moments here on this side. So we never want to be rolling and then not do movement afterwards. Okay? So after rolling that second side, just take a second again to notice. And then come back to that movement that we did at the beginning with the shoulder blades. So just sliding the blades up, together, and down. And notice if the movement is any different. Notice if you feel the distinction or the relationship between the blades and the rib cage, and the blades and the arm socket and the arm bone, and just how things are moving now, having rolled out. So have fun, play with that. A wonderful day. Thanks for joining me. Namaste.